Hello and welcome to Brain Slime. I'm going to show you quickly how to restore an ESTWING hammer. It's very cheap and easy to do, as you can see by the hammer I've got here. It's old, it's rusty, it's got lots of pits in the hammer. There's also a lot of residue on the hammer which has become stuck to it. So anyway, what you should do is start with quite a heavy grit, so a 40 or 60 grit sandpaper. I've actually started with a 100 grit sandpaper here. Now, it's key to try and rub into all the little corners and crevices. Don't spend too much time working away at the flat areas just with one finger on the sandpaper as such. What I would suggest is just sort of wrapping the sandpaper around the entire hammer and just getting as much of that surface off as you can. Now, instead of just going backwards and forwards along the hammer, it's key that you actually go side to side and maybe put in some circular motion there as well. This just makes sure that you don't get some defined lines from where you've been sanding away, especially if you're using those lower numbered sandpapers. Now, what I would also suggest is folding the sandpaper in order to get into some of the crevices, like on the claw. This means that you can get right in there and get as much rust off as possible. And also under the front of the hammer, you're going to really need to sort of work away at that and get as much of that that surface rust off as you can. Now, with my hammer, because I'm going to be using it on site, it's sort of frowned upon to turn up with very, very clean tools. So I'm not going to the nth degree with this one. But simply the process is you start with as low a number sandpaper as you can, and you really work up in your numbers. So I switched over to a 150 grit. And then what I do is rub off the surface with a cloth to make sure that that's all sort of clean, nice and free of any dust and rust particles, and then I'll go over it again. So that's where we are with this. Now, what I would do as well after I've completed as much sanding as I'm going to do, and obviously that's up to you how far you go, is actually spray on some WD-40. You can use other products, of course, it doesn't really matter too much, but give the hammer a spray with that, and then go back over with a clean cloth and sort of buff up the surface. Once again, you can go as extreme as you like. You can go to a mirror polish if you like, but this is how I wanted this hammer, so that's the level of polish I've given it. So if you look at the results, it's literally cost probably about 50p of sandpaper and WD-40. It's taken about 5 minutes, and I've turned an old scrap hammer, if you like, into something that's well usable and will last another 10-20 years. Please subscribe and like the video. It lets me know whether or not to do some more of these. Also, comment on the video if you want me to give one of these ESTWING hammers a mirror polish, and also if there's any other tools, any other things you want me to restore, and give me an idea of what finish you want on them, then I'll put them videos up ASAP. Cheers.